I'm Frank Wang. I'm the Executive Director of Platform Sales at BitGo. BitGo is an enabler in the crypto ecosystem. So we are both a regulated financial services company as well as technology company. We provide regulated custody as well as wallet services. And so we are a little different than the other members of the council in that we serve and enable other businesses, whether it be enterprise or financial technology or traditional financial services, to engage in the digital asset ecosystem. BitGo is often there as an infrastructure layer invisible underneath the hood. Right? Consumers and end users will see the application that the enterprise has built, and BitGo is there underneath the hood, powering the digital asset aspect of that use case. So we joined the Hedera Governing Council to help drive enterprise adoption of digital assets and use of blockchain. We are an enabler, meaning we provide software and services and regulated custody to enterprises, to fintechs, to others looking to build in the digital asset ecosystem. And so we joined the council to help have a voice, or to have a voice in advising these companies, whether they be enterprise or startups or somewhere in between, on the best way to execute their vision and to offer our services and our tooling to the developers and to the product managers. There are a couple of major blockers right now, we think, to broader enterprise adoption of both Hedera and digital assets in general. The first is simply inertia. There are a great number of large companies with legacy technology and systems and ways of doing things. And when you introduce the concept of DLT or blockchain, heads start spinning. And there's a lack of, I think, knowledge and education among these larger companies in terms of how best to use DLT to achieve their business goals. This will slowly change as, I think, education about digital assets and DLTs get spread out, I guess, or as people get more educated in terms of what a DLT can do for their business. We think that will change. Right now, you have a lot of large companies with small innovation teams that are beginning to look at, okay, how can we use DLT to enhance, replace, make better an existing business process? Or how can we use DLT in some cases to drive revenue or to create a new product? I think over the next several years, and maybe it'll be faster, these projects will leave the incubator stage or the innovation team and actually get out in the market. So I think the first barrier is just, look, you have large companies, and large companies take time to innovate. The second is regulation, actually. And I'm speaking from a participant that lives in the United States. We've had unclear or undefined regulation when it comes to digital assets, at least so far. And that has caused a lot of companies to pause their efforts for fear that they may run into regulatory trouble. And so as the regulatory environment, let's say, gets better and more clarity is provided to the industry, you will see larger companies begin to move more aggressively into the space. Because the things they were scared about before, whether or not, for example, a loyalty NFT might be considered a security, whether that is or is not will be more clearly defined, and that'll provide ground rules and sort of guidelines for these companies to operate in. I think those two are some of the larger barriers we see. We are there ready to help in terms of, again, infrastructure and regulated services to enable those efforts. I wouldn't say we are here to provide legal or regulatory advice, but we are an active participant in the market. We are there to at least provide market color, tell companies how they might consider doing something, provide advice from the perspective of an expert in the space, right? We touch hundreds, if not thousands, of different crypto projects across all industries, and that gives us a valuable perspective to provide to others looking to get into digital assets for the first time. Everybody's looking to tokenize something right now. Not a day goes by where we don't have a conversation about tokenizing a real-world asset. The first thing everyone is tokenizing is the dollar, right? And a tokenized dollar is, in essence, a stable coin. Our CEO did announce our own efforts in this area at Token 2049 fairly recently, and you'll see more news come out about that. But we are also enabling others to tokenize. We see people and projects wanting to tokenize private securities, Reg D, Reg S. We see companies wanting to tokenize real estate, tokenize art, tokenize even more obscure things that you wouldn't even think to tokenize. And all those conversations are happening right now. And again, we provide the infrastructure and the technology to allow a company to do that. And so when you tokenize an asset, you need to, one, put it on chain, but then you might need a wallet to offer to the investor to hold that asset. You may need a custodian, perhaps, to hold the underlying quote unquote real world asset. You might actually need someone to help with the fiat rails so that an investor can then buy this tokenized asset, whatever it might be. We play in all of those parts. We help in all of those functions and enabling others to get into tokenized assets. BitGo would like to be the regulated partner for the digital asset ecosystem. To that end, we have licenses here in the US. We have licenses in Germany, in Switzerland, in Singapore. We're setting up joint ventures in South Korea. We have pending licenses in the Middle East. All of this is so that we can enable local participants to have a trusted partner in their local jurisdiction that they can build with. Build on BitGo or build with BitGo is something we want to encourage the digital asset ecosystem to consider. We have been around probably longer than most, if not all, companies of our type. We would love to have a conversation with anyone looking to build something new and something transformative in digital assets. Our view is that digital assets, crypto, blockchain, it's here to stay. And right now there's been a lot of focus on, are we offering crypto? Are we offering Bitcoin? Very visible, overt crypto or digital asset offerings. I think if you skate forward a few years, if not several years, you will see blockchain and DLT in almost every aspect of life. And what you'll see then is that the digital asset layer will be underneath the surface. The end consumer likely won't even know that they're interacting with a blockchain or interacting with the DLT. It may be powered by Hedera, it may be powered by some form of a DLT. Our view is that you're not even going to know it when this technology is truly matured and out in the market. That's our prediction. We are happy to remain underneath the hood and be silently powering all of these really cool applications in the enterprise space and the financial services space. We ultimately believe that a lot of the complexity, a lot of the jargon, a lot of the crypto native stuff is going to be abstracted away for the end consumer. So if we did have a prediction, it's that crypto, one, is here to stay, digital assets are here to stay, but they will more and more be invisible to the end user. So why did BitGo join the Hedera Governing Council? We truly believe that enterprise adoption is one of the key parts of moving our industry forward. And in that light, we believe that Hedera is one of the most suitable chains to build enterprise applications on. One reason for that is the Governing Council, where you have 30, 40 of the world's largest, most respected corporations be the ones that validate the transactions on this network. We have talked to clients who say they are a little bit nervous or unsure how to handle a situation where a public blockchain might be validated by a complete unknown. And for compliance and risk-focused enterprises, having an unknown participant validate transactions for you is not necessarily a risk they're comfortable with, especially if that unknown participant is getting paid in terms of transaction fees to do so. You could be inadvertently paying perhaps a bad actor. And so that alone, I think, puts Hedera in rarefied air, in rare company when it comes down to being able to secure a network and having that network secured by known parties. In conversations we've had, enterprises have found that to actually be a key selling point. We also believe that Hedera is much more suitable than some other chains due to the low transaction fees, but not just because they're low, it's because they're fixed. They're fixed in dollar terms, and that predictability, especially for, let's say, a payments use case or a high throughput, high transaction use case, gives visibility for the company building the application to know how much is it going to cost them to run this? And they can predict the cost of running or providing a particular service, which they can't do if the price and of gas, so to speak, or transaction fees can go up or down depending on the market as it is with many other chains. So those are a couple of the reasons that we think Hedera is well positioned to drive enterprise use cases. And again, our goal is to help enterprises get there. And we think Hedera is going to be a key part of doing that.